one of the flies we're using today is called the Anneworm. It's a fly actually designed down here on a longer style hook, and it's made to represent an annelid as well as like a San Juan worm. This kind of fly has been huge for me in many ways down here, keeping flies in their zone, something you can also roll along the bottom. It's just very versatile. I'd say one of the biggest and most important flies that I share with my friends down here, and we tie in, really obnoxious colors too. Purple has been a big one lately, blue, especially with this toned water. If you look at the water, it's a little off color. Not impossible to see fish, but not likely to see fish. So working through it a lot and going repetitively over the same spots is kind of a big thing. So these bright colors, that bright red nano silk, the sunburst yellows, chartreuse, those are all pretty good ones. Let's mess with the depth here. And also you can see all this stuff kind of floating through. There's a lot of chunks of things coming through. They look like worms, they look like leeches, and it's just moss clumps. But within the moss clumps, there's annelids, there's midge pupae, there's midge larvae, they're all in there. And so these fish know that, and they'll come up and grab these clumps to swim around and eat them. And so a leech is a really huge pattern here as well. Using leeches represents a lot of what these things look like, San Juan worms for a great example, hence the name San Juan. They resemble this stuff really cool. So olive, red ones can look like the annelid as well. So I just took a little of that tungsten putty off. I don't want to drag the bottom here, but that's a good way to kind of get in between weight sizes in picky situations like this. You need to really get it in front of their face. So back on the stuff floating through. So that's a big thing. So I created the veal leech for this kind of purpose. The veal kind of gives it this texture similar to this moss you see floating around. It's kind of creamy looking. It's got this kind of goo look to it. And then you have, obviously the rabbit strip that looks like the leech part. And that seems to be doing real well here. I have good luck on it in red, purple, olive, brown. Natural brown works good for me up in Colorado on the Front Range. And I'd say purple and red have been really good here. So that might be a good combination to pick up on if this isn't doing the trick here. Then behind it, we have the Wader Midge, which here, give it a minute, and Dominic, if you look at Dominic's waders right now, he's got midges crawling on his legs. That's how many midges are in here. They're just all over the place. And so to represent that, I designed that fly that's kind of borrowed the body style from a really good pattern known around here is the bling midge. You got a nice little segmented midge larvae body with a flash attractor collar to resemble like a gas bubble. But I wanted to mimic the wings you see on those midges, so I put CDC with a piece of medallion sheeting. CDC grabs a little air as you cast, and it pins between that sheeting, creates this bubble along with the wing, kind of like a bubble back, and it lifts that fly up like foaming. And so keeping that fly up, because you can only use 2 flies here, keeping 2 flies in the proper column is huge. So little things like that make a difference, especially when you fish the slower sections. This faster water, not as much, but you'll definitely see it kind of get a little worse. Then you get to slower water as the fish get more picky. So then you have to kind of focus more on the rigging. Depth is very key here, similar to still water. If you're not keeping it in the proper zones, they won't eat it. And their zones change several times a day, so you're working different speeds of water, working different sections of water. They all make a difference here. Try not to fall, that makes a difference. But this channel back here, this has been somewhere I fished since a kid. It's a place full of memories. So it's always a nice place to come and throw some of these flies. This is a good place I came in to test them and try them out. It's fast, it's quick. It's more like our Colorado Rockies type waters, like the Arkansas. It's moving, it's shaped a little different than most of the one. So it's a nice way to kind of try things that you may be going to fish in different rivers, just to kind of see what trout react to in different speeds. A huge majority of this river is a lot of skinny water. It's a lot of shallow stuff. Picky fish sitting shallow water, very easy to spook. And so being able to come to this thick stuff, they tend to be a little less picky. They're more willing to eat some bigger bugs coming through. And so you can test other things. I mean, go lower on the one 10 miles and you can throw the absolute opposite, more freestone style bugs, huge 16s and big terrestrials. But this topper section of the water, it isn't that way. These bugs are used to all this little stuff that's around permanently year round. Dry as end midge pupa. And so this is the time of year where those midges and the Baetis start coming up. Two huge sources of food. Anneworm worms and leeches, another two huge sources of food, which is really common around these areas. Going to Durango, you find the same stuff. You go into New Mexico and a little bit further, you find some of the same stuff. So these seem to work in all about the tailwaters that I fish around here. And having universal flies is kind of the main point, right? We don't want flies maybe that just don't work at one water, but they work on several. Using this red annelid in places that I don't even really see red annelids, using it in still waters. I mean, catching bluegill crappie is a very versatile fly. It's not very specific for this river, even though it was designed here. Same thing with the Wader Midge. It looks like your average midges you see on the water. It looks like the midge pupa that you'll see up in the Rockies and the South Platte. It looks like some of the stuff you'll see on the Missouri and Montana. You can make it look like the tricos. Coloration differences is key there. Another good fly that I was using back here is the Hot Belly Baetis. The body is the same. The body is typical Baetis body. You know, you got your typical little tail there, and you got a nice little wing case and some legs, but the belly is highlighted. It's supposed to be one of those flies as it twirls around and moves in the current. You get flashes of the belly. You get to see glimpses of that orange or the yellow, and it helps pick them out. You know, even if the water's clear, it helps them kind of pick it out because it's subtle. It may not look subtle in the bin, but if you put that fly in the water, you'd be surprised how subtle it is when it's wet. But they tend to key in on yours if there's a bunch of them in there, or in situations like this where there just may be a lot of other gunk in the water, whether it's year round or just you get your upper flows and lower flows. It's a great option because they can pick it out of that moss, they can pick it out of the gunk. I've even had fish eat it when it had moss on it because they could see it with the moss on it. So there's different reasons and different, ways that I rig these. Sometimes I run 2 or 3 of them. Here you can run 2 barbless flies. So the Hot Belly Baetis would be the back fly for me. When the water's clear, maybe I'd use it as the lead fly in a larger size, like a 20. Ooh. This water seems to be pretty murky and milky right now. So using a bright red annelid as an attractor and as one of their food sources, is very beneficial. I may change to the Hot Belly so it's a little easier for them to pick out instead of that natural color Wader Midge. But these fish do have great eyes, so starting with something natural to see if they're still able to see it isn't a bad idea. And that kind of is the reason when I tie or design flies in crazy colors. Generally they're either for spring, certain times of day with different lighting, the darker lightings in the morning and late evening. That nasty, dirty water. It could be just because I want to throw something different. It depends on where I'm fishing, but I design them in different colors because when you go to a fly shop, if you had the option to throw a fly that was different color than anything else and it was the shape and style you wanted, would you do it? You may probably. And that's exactly it. I'd rather have thousands of flies in different colors and options and styles to change to. You know, sometimes you're surprised at what works really well. I've seen some really goofy flies work really well. And you see some really technical stuff that you're like, wow, that's just a beautiful, perfect representation of that fly. And it looks dead on, spitting image, and it doesn't work. They don't seem to key in on it. So sometimes going a little bit out of the normal, but staying close. So profile, to me, I try to keep the same profile. If a bug's skinny, I try to maintain that in the design of the fly and still change it or add a highlight or a hot spot or a flash or even a flash dubbing. Fulling Mill has this flash Euro dubbing that is very, very awesome. It's very buggy, but it has just a little bit of flash. So it's subtle. And subtle is just, that's it. You know, there's a finesse to all this. Stick somewhere by you.
You're on mic, by the way, Tyler.
All right, I'm gonna try to go around that. So go behind it, go around that, go around that. I'm gonna bring the fish to you. He don't know you're there yet. Once he comes up, I'm gonna try to keep him there long enough. You're gonna scoop, but I'm gonna commit to your scoop. So I'm gonna drop him. So I'm gonna drop him into your net. So you gotta make sure you got him when you go to scoop. You see all the dirtiness? Yeah. I'm gonna try to bring him in that cloud. He's not gonna be able to see you, so I'll get him up high and scoop him under that cloud. Ready?
I don't think that fish is ready.
Ready?
I don't know. Is he ready?
I don't know. He's giving me vibes. Yeah, fuck. I think he might be wrapped up when he jumped. Because you see all that water pushing. So we're gonna find out soon. All right, ready? You ready?
And also, it's not going to fit in the net, so you need to put your hand on it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pin it in that shit. All right, yeah, he's wrapped up, so get the head first. Wait.
Head first.
You got to get in front of him, head first. Ready?
Go out and around, head first.
Ready? We're gonna come back. Get his head, head first. There he is! Oh my god, dude!
Still got my face, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Running our race, just that I pace. Made some mistakes, but learned a few things, so I'll be okay. I'll be okay. Yeah. I've been through it all. Looking at Goliath at the stand tall. My heart it feel like David.
Slackers. Oh, a fucking little one.